Yo, what up? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, alright, what up, boys? What y'all up to? I'm chilling, dude. Just got back getting some food, and now I'm playing a game. How about that? Man, we need to stream? Yeah. I was gonna stream earlier today at the normal time, but I woke up, I felt like shit. Honestly, it's totally my fault. Like, I've just been having a really hard time waking up at the right time. It's just something I go through. It'd be like that, still sick. It's not really it's a sick because it's like I went from getting I got 4 hours of sleep one night, then the next night I got like 5.5 or 5, and it's just like, for me, you know, you guys know I live like a fucking animal. Like I live in a way that like a fucking normal person would not live in. But the counterbalance for that is that I get a lot of sleep, and it's like a fortification in a way, you could say that, right? And so like, as long as I get enough sleep, nothing can hurt me, you know? But if I don't get enough sleep, I'm having a bad time. Is it worth it boosting, or is it easy level 60? Just buy the fucking boost, dude. Actually, I mean, if it's your first time, probably level up on your own just so you know what you're doing. Like, I mean, for your own good, right? I mean, treat it like a tutorial. But if you know what you're doing, that's it. That's my advice, at least. Leveling's so bad. Is it really so bad? I mean, like, I don't know. I think it's just the same as it always has been. I mean, it's just like, I think that it's not even really bad. It's just that, like, we've already done it so many times that it's not... It's like, well, oh great, I have to do this again. You know what I mean? Like, it's not anything like new or special. It's just like, okay, you know, we're doing it again. There it is. Oh fuck, I gotta move away from this. I hate these motherfucking birds, man. You're gonna play Wrath? Yeah, I'll play Wrath. I mean, I think everybody's gonna play the new... It's content, right? I mean, like, how long am I gonna play Wrath? I mean, fuck, I don't know. I plan on playing it for at least, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, like a month, it'd be great. I mean, dude, if I could get a month's worth of content out of Wrath, I'd be so happy. I don't know if that's even gonna happen. It's like, the game's kind of boring, and it's not going to be super exciting until World of War and ICC come out. That just gets so boring so fast. It's not the game's fault, you know what I mean? It's just the game. That's how I see it. Damn, bitch. Calm down. Oh. That's a close one. He's probably gonna kill me here. Actually, it's a flying attack. Don't do that much damage. Watch this. Watch this. Boom. Big dick. And big dick. You done. There we go. Alright, we got him. I had to make sure I got that. You had to eat this special mushroom, and it allowed you to see a certain battle pet. That's why I was in Korthia the other day, is I needed to get one of those mushrooms. But I have it now, and I got it then. So there we go. Fuck yeah. Is Season of Mastery still alive? Alive would imply that, well, is it still alive would imply that it was ever alive. You know what I mean? There's like 2 or 3 servers that are, it's like Season of Mastery is about the same hype level as New World. I would even say New World is above Season of Mastery. So take that as you will. Storming the Maw, training our forces. I should go do these on my other characters for the eggs. Six Master was fun for a little while, to be fair, while the hardcore thing was going on. I don't like it, maybe for you, but like for me, I don't like hardcore. Like as I always say, like I play video games to relax, man. And like I don't relax whenever I have to worry about dying all the time. It's like I make a mistake, hey yo, it is what it is, you know, like fuck it. And so like that's what my appeal, the appeal of the game is to me. Session was coming after brain dead people yesterday. No, the problem is that I went to bed at like 2:30 in the morning, man, and like I just can't maintain. I cannot maintain a good sleeping schedule. It had nothing to do with like dumb people in chat, man. It's just that I have such a really, really hard time with my sleeping schedule, man. It's honestly like probably it's the main reason why I have trouble with my stream in general. It's like not viewership, it's not drama, it's just sleep. It's literally just sleep. It sounds so insane, but there it is. There's a lot of stuff you want to do, but you can't sleep. Yeah. And then I'll wake up and I'll have like, I have anxiety really bad in the morning, and so I'll be really anxious for my stream and everything, and you know, stressed out. And so I can't go back to bed, and it's like 7, and so it's, I don't know, it's just, it's fucked up, man. Yeah, it's just like I always had trouble with this, like working, and I had trouble with this like in school. Like I would be late to class all the time, and I would just like, I could never do class in the morning. And it like never really mattered what time it was, because I would always just wake up at the wrong time anyway. You gotta eat and shit like that? No, it's nothing to do with lifestyle. I've always been like this. Oh, it's so rare. It doesn't really matter what I'm doing. It's like a mental thing for me. Like I want to stay up because like I want to do more stuff, and I just can't. I don't want to go to bed. Any chance to play Lost Ark on this channel? Maybe a bit, yeah. I'm almost done with like half of the rapport stuff, so that's good. People don't understand the issue. Tell them to just close your eyes, go to sleep, which is missing a point. Yeah. Well, it's also like I end my stream and I want to do like other stuff, and then like it's just like I mean I don't know. I can complain about this for an hour. Who cares? The point is still all the same. Like I just have trouble sleeping, and it's a fucking it's a huge problem for me, and so that's why I have to take days off. Like 9 times out of 10, if I take a day off, it's because of my sleep. I'm not even kidding. Like it's because of sleep. Always like staying up late. I like staying up late too, because nobody is gonna come over to my house or annoy me. I don't want to talk to anybody or be around anybody. I just want to be by myself and be able to relax. What's this? I like having the stream. It's okay, but Being around people in real life is different. Especially if it's imposed on you. What's this? Was your React videos to Quantum being taken down? Yeah, I mean, fuck him, man. Like, I talked about that guy a lot. I mean, the guy's a nutcase. He needs to get medical help. He needs to get, like, psychological help, man. There's something really wrong with him, and I hope that he's able to sort it out. It's sad to see somebody ruin their life like that. It's funny, too. But it's also sad. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not gonna go soft on you guys, right? You know, I still think it's fucking funny, right? But there is like an element of it where it's like kind of, you know, shitty. Guy's a complete doofus. He is. He's just stupid. It was not really surprising, but it always is surprising. It is and it's not. I don't know. It's a weird way to say it. To see people making excuses for him. And I think that what I don't like about it is that people they're not honest about why they're making excuses for him. They just act like, you know, they're trying to be objective. And I find that to be very frustrating, because it's like you're not even, it's like you can't talk about what's real, because it's like everything that they're saying is like it's like a distraction. This is annoying. This is really annoying. Why is it like this? Okay. Got organized enough to run multiple social channels, pathologically unstable enough, that would be sad. No, I don't, yeah, that's true. It's not like this guy is I think honestly there's just some people that just need to, like, just chill out. Like, unironically chill out. Like, just with everything in their life. Like, just stop acting the way you're acting. Stop, you know, getting upset about the things you get upset about. You know, stop caring about other people as much. Like, it's just, they get so caught up in the minutia of interacting with and thinking about what other people are doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it. And it's like you're constantly fixated around something that makes you mad and doesn't matter. Fuck. Yeah, fuck. I'll be ready soon. Is Lost Ark worth it without pay to win? Yeah, it's a fun game. I know there's people that don't like the game, but I think it's a fun game. I think a lot of the people that don't like Lost Ark, they don't like it because it has pay to win in it, not because of the real gameplay. And also I think that you can make an argument that, like, Lost Ark is pretty sparse right now. Because it's like, okay, well, there's no Legion raids, you know, a good part of the vertical daily content is not available right now. So it's like right now we're playing the worst 60% of the game. You know what I mean? I don't like Lost Ark because it's Diablo style. Isometric camera. That's what people call it. And I think that's fair. There's a lot of people that don't like that. I'm personally indifferent. This is worth 60%. I can't wait to see the rest. I'm enjoying it. I am too. I've said many times that, you know, I've really enjoyed Lost Ark and I have fun playing the game. There have been many people who have tried to rationalize why I like the game, but I think the game is growing, but it is very hard to say, and I really mean that. Like, it's very hard to say with Lost Ark, and I'll look and I'll show you why I think it's so hard to say. Give me a second. Bots. I mean, in short, yes. And I'll show you how I think it's bots and how many people I think are bots. Plus 10% honing rates and remove Fions. I think they should take Fions out of the game too. I don't think that they provide any sort of a positive to the game. Every other game doesn't have this problem with, like, auction house, like, oh my god, people are gonna bid on the auction house and stuff like this, like, oh my god. I think that it's an artificial problem that the developers created. Like, World of Warcraft doesn't have this problem, Final Fantasy doesn't, New World doesn't have this problem, and to their credit, all those games are paid games and Lost Ark is free to play, so it is different. You're right, it is different if you're gonna bring that up. However, I just think you need to like, it's the same thing I said kind of with, like, the WoW token, is that the solution to a game being bad, or a problem being in the game, is not to punish all of the players by implementing a system that's like a catch-all to solve a problem in the game because you're too lazy to hire people to solve it. It's like Blizzard basically said, well, okay, we're not going to care about the systems and, like, or the bots in the game, right? And people selling gold. And so we're just gonna sell our own gold, or let people buy and sell gold. And it's like, well, that's not really a solution, is it? I mean, that's just like you pretty much saying, well, if anybody is gonna devalue the integrity of our game, it's gonna be us. They'd use two-factor authentication. They could. I think two-factor authentication should be used more often. Sitting around with a friend, Lost Ark was like 100 bots in the first sitting running around. Yeah, so let's look at this right here, okay? So right here, this is, I looked at it a minute ago, so like, the game is like this popular, right? It has 572,000 people playing the game. You see, like, this is a lot of people playing the game. However, let's look at some context behind these numbers and what these numbers really mean. Because it is deceptive, I believe. So, if you look at every other game, and I'll talk about this on my stream on Tuesday, whenever it is. If you look at pretty much every other game, Elden Ring, I think, is like kind of an exception. But many games like go from, you know, up and down a lot, right? And so, Elden Ring probably not a good one. So let's look at this one here, Dota. So it goes from 600 to 300. So it basically goes from 100% to 50% to 0%, right? So let's say the bottom, like 0 people is 0%. Right here is 50%. This is 100%, right? Like proportionally. Do you see kind of what I'm saying, right? So like, yeah. So like each day, the peak and the valley of the game, the lowest player base is about 50% of the highest player base. And this is a reflected number in almost every single community with any game. So you look at Counter-Strike, it's extremely high. And then it goes down and it goes to like 50%. So it's 100%, 50%, 100%, 50%, 100%, 50%, 100%, 50%. Apex Legends, 100%, 50%, 100%, 50%, 100%, 50%. You see what I'm saying? And PUBG is even more insane. I don't even know how this happens. But even with a game like Vampire Survivors, for example, Vampire Survivors has a better ratio, but it goes from, you know, 100% to 70%. But here's what's interesting with Lost Ark, is that Lost Ark doesn't have that. So it's at, let's look at this number right here, right? 462,000 versus 350,000. So this is a differential of 110,000. So that's a little bit under 1/quarter of the total player base. So it goes from about 100% player base to about 75 to 70% player base. So what does this mean? This means that if you look at the same graph of all of these other games and you assume that the same player behavior is occurring and the artificial amount of viewership or player base is somewhere related to that, if you looked at the graph and you compared it, this would be, let's see, it's 50% would be 357, right? 357. And then 100% would be 462. So we're looking at about 110,000. Just let's say 110,000. So if you take 110,000 differential per day and you apply it to these different graphs, if you extrapolate that data, it would explain that the game has around 220 to 250,000 average players. If you use these same games as a metric. You see what I'm saying? Compare with multi-region MMORPGs. So the reason why that's a really great thing that you brought up, and that's why I use Counter-Strike as an example, because Counter-Strike, as we all know, well, actually right now is a terrible, I can't even use that argument because Russia, the fucking bullshit, right? PUBG is extremely popular in China, so it's like that. I don't know how it's, I don't think China uses Steam though. But let's look at New World. And also, let's look at Final Fantasy. It's the wrong game. So Final Fantasy has about the same type of drop-off. You see what I'm saying? And also, as far as I know, the people that are playing Lost Ark on Steam, or sorry, in Korea and in Russia are not using Steam. Is that correct? So those other time zones and those other people would not be averaged in. So if you look at New World, which is also an MMO, and MMOs retain players throughout like 24-hour cycles much better because people on average play them more. So you look at New World has a player base peak of 28 and it goes down to 13. So it's almost an exactly 100 to 50 ratio. You see what I'm saying? So even New World has this 100 to 50 ratio with peaks and valleys. And then you look at Final Fantasy XIV, this is even below that. It goes from 100 to 40% ratio with peaks and valleys. Also, there are some other ways that you can look, and like you can see, like obviously there is Twitch viewership. I think that to a certain degree, the amount of people that are consuming content on the platform and consuming content about the game, I think that's an indicator of like how popular it is. Now also let's look at Lost Ark on Steam charts because they have a much more longitudinal approach with how much graphs they have. So if you look at it over the 3-month time span, the game has actually grown and become more popular over time. It leveled out right about here at about 350,000, and then it's gone up. So what does that mean? That means there's too many ads on this page. Holy fuck, this is awful. What is this trash? So let's look at that, and now let's also compare this to Google Trends. So we're gonna only use this in the United States. So because obviously in other regions it would be harder to say, but let's just use the United States, and then we'll also include there's not, unfortunately they don't have English speaking in Western countries as just like a bucket analytical data point. So it's harder to do this. So let's look at where this recovery started to occur. It happened somewhere around in March 29th, right? So let's compare March 29th, this around here, March, or late March, early April. So late March, early April. So the game has still been going down substantially, and only really went up whenever the patch came out, which is good, and I think that makes sense. So if you look at the amount of the 3-month period, it shouldn't really matter, but yeah, sure, we'll do a 3-month period. So right here, you can see it kept going down. So let's also look as well at let's look at the amount of people that are playing and watching the game. This is a very awful graph. Oh my god, this is so bad. Why is this so bad? Oh my god, why is it so bad? Why you do this? Well, you can see obviously the viewership was going down substantially even after this point, but it's hard to say right now because it's, so the reason why Twit monthly, no, that doesn't really help. Are Twitch stats relevant though? I think that they are relevant, And the reason why I think that they're relevant is because people that are that are playing a video game are more likely to consume content about the game. So for example, some of the most popular games have some of the most popular player bases or fan bases. So like for example, Minecraft, League of Legends, Counter-Strike. All of these games are incredibly popular, and they have massive people that are watching them. I disagree. I never watch content for games I play. Well, we're not talking about what you do, are we? When were we talking about what you do? Who is talking about that? Why would we be talking about what you're doing? Nobody's talking about that. Anyway, so if you look at the amount of people that were streaming the game, there is no indication on any other observable metric that the game is growing in viewership or the game is growing in interest in any observable way outside of the player base numbers that are being shown on Steam. So it's not growing on Twitch, it's not growing on YouTube, it's not growing on it's not growing on like Google Analytics. It's not growing anywhere. So, what does this mean? This means that I would assume that if you take the amount of people playing the game right now, so you take a 237 plus 571, so you're looking at about 130, 140,000 people. If you apply the same 50% differential to that, you're looking at about actually 300 active players and 100 to 200,000 bots. The problem with this is that it is an MMO, and so player behavior is different. It's also an MMO that focuses a lot on playing the game constantly. And it's also a game that is very popular in other regions. So it's extremely hard to judge. It's extremely hard to judge what is legitimate and what's not. So you're stuck making assumptions. I have 1,100 hours. I don't watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think people who watch a game are more or less likely to watch content about the game, or that play a game? They're more likely. Okay, so why are we having this conversation? Okay. So, it depends. What does it depend on? Okay, anyway. So let's look at, let's look at a few people on, let's look at my YouTube channel. How about that? Oh shit! So if you look at on my YouTube channel, and let's remove WoW content, because right now the new expansion for WoW just got released. So it would make sense that my content about WoW would be more popular. You see what I'm saying? So, or we can look at things from before Dragonflight. Let's go ahead and look at that. And also a lot of my WoW content is much more specific, but let's look at Lost Ark videos. So this is whenever I did the South Varen questline. It's a 3-hour video, so it's not going to be super popular, but it has 100,000 views. This video here, 100,000 views. Final Fantasy, 150,000. Warcraft, as I said before. I mean, it's the game I'm most known for, and also a new expansion came out, so it's not a big surprise that, you know, oh my god, this is the worst thumbnail I've ever seen in my whole life.
April Lost Ark
Cat
Pad.
Danny do this to me? Look at this thumbnail. Oh my god, I look so bad. Wow, it's so off. Oh my god. And so anyway, like, so this, like, when was the last time I had a video about Lost Ark go over 200,000 views? Let's see. This almost did, but it's not even about Lost Ark. It's just people mad at me. 134. 315,000, and this is about quitting the game. Lost Ark honing, 92,000. The only content that's really popular about Lost Ark is why people aren't playing it. Compare that to your Final Fantasy's videos would be more accurate. Sure. Let's look at the Final Fantasy videos. 215. I think this video is going to, like, people like Zeppla, and, you know, whenever I do content with her, so that's going to be artificially increased, and also it, WoW players and Final Fantasy players being toxic, like, that's just going to get those people, you know, fighting in the comments, and so, like, you know, it's like the Spider-Man meme of, like, them all pointing at each other. Let's see, Final Fantasy Cash Shop, 120,000. Let's see, 150,000. So Final Fantasy videos aren't really popping off that much either. I think it's honestly like there's not really as much of a... Whenever I first started playing the game, there was like a huge exodus of WoW players away from WoW. But because WoW has kind of solved a lot of the reasons why people left, and the new expansion got announced, I think people don't have as much interest in Final Fantasy now versus back in like June of last year. I'll go kill this guy. Oh, looks like I won't. I have to say it's true. Well, I don't really... To me, I don't really care if something is small or big or not. I think you guys can probably tell, I really like data analysis. Because it's the closest thing that you have to being able to, like, really know what's true and what's not true. Like, I spend hours doing this. And, like, this was... Like, the reason why I was so good at business, and, like, the reason why I had, like, really, really good grades in, like, every class that I did that had anything to do with data analysis is because I intrinsically enjoy it. Like, I was, like, top in my school for doing this. And keep in mind, my school was known for drinking, not learning. However, you know, it's still kind of, I was still happy I was doing well, of course. Must be UT. I was gonna go to UT Law School. You needed the average GPA was a 3.8, I think, whenever I got in. And, I had a 3.5 because I still had some classes from my community college transcript that were like classes I took whenever I was like 18 or 19, and I just got a C in them. It brought down my grade a lot. Final Fantasy census to see real numbers on Final Fantasy, no sub numbers. And so, well, anyway, I don't even know how I got into that. But the point is, like, I spend a lot of time looking at these numbers, and I don't really care a whole lot about, like, what's true or not what's true, what I think about it and what I don't think about it. I just care about, like, knowing what it is, you know? Like, I just want to know. Like, the actual, the outcome of the data to me is irrelevant, because it's, like, something that, like, nobody really knows what's going on ever. And I want to know what's really going on. Narc video. If you take some expansion, isn't all positives. Titan Ghost, if you want to link that in my... I Narc is the guy who does all of the videos about Ashes of Creation, right? Thank God, I'll watch this. Yeah, I think people like that video a lot. It's controversial. Part of the reason low viewership in MMOs is players can do everything themselves in game, unlike watching pro queue in competitive games. I think that you can make that argument, but I think that you can make that argument on a genre-based level. So, like, for example, like, I think that watching Lost Ark is, in general, outside of MSQ, I think is more entertaining than watching Final Fantasy. And there are, like, some objective reasons why I think that. I think that because, in general, the combat in the game is more dynamic. So, like, you're moving around more. And I also think that Final Fantasy has, like, 30 buttons on the screen. And it's harder for an average player, like a spectator, to be able to appreciate the movement of those buttons and the weaving of the buttons. So, like, executing a perfect rotation in Lost Ark, the numbers look better on the screen, period. That's all there is to it. So whenever you see a 20 million, you're like, wow, that's a big number. But in Final Fantasy, it's harder to see that. So that's why I think that the watchability of Lost Ark is better than Final Fantasy. However, you have other factors that are outside of combat. So things like MSQ, and also things like ultimates. Whenever, like, I do them, like, if I do them with Dom and Sea Lion and everybody there, like, I think that'll be popular content, at least for a while, because people will want to see, you know, the narrative of everybody, you know, getting that far. You know what I mean? However, this is not a universal thing. And there's also, it's like, I think it's very important to remove extremes. So extremes like, for example, a game doesn't suddenly become way more popular just because like me or Miz or XQC starts playing it. Like, you know, just because we go over there and add 30, 50, 80,000 viewers or whatever to the game's directory, that doesn't necessarily make the game instantly that much more popular. So it's important to remove extremes, especially if the extremes are like a variety streamer. Like if Shroud is streaming a game, that game is going to have way more viewers, but that game has more viewers because those people are Shroud viewers and not intrinsically that game's viewers. However, this is not an ultimate thing. It's not like this is always true or never true. For example, there are people like Faker, or people like Tyler One, and their popularity, I think, is to some degree reflective of the popularity of the game that they play, because that's all they play. That's what they do. Farm that rep? I know, bro, I know. I'm just collecting these as much as I can. Like, wow, fun to watch. Well, that's what I mean, right? Is like, so like if I do a mount off in WoW, that's not really WoW content, that's Asmongold content. Now, it's accessible to WoW players, but I think the reason why mount offs are successful and that stuff is successful as content is because it's accessible to anyone. Like, you could have never played WoW before, and you can watch a mount off, and if I'm explaining like, wow, this mount is a 1 in 2,000 drop chance of something that came out 7 years ago, people are like, wow, that's really cool, you know, if I'm talking about like a world boss mount from Miss Pandaria or something like that. However, if you're talking about like a raid, the way that for a person who has never played World of Warcraft, the entertainment value of watching Sea-Doo or Peekaboo versus watching a random 2100 player is fundamentally about the same. They win games, they lose games, and that's it. Because the complexities of the game are so high that, like, I used to tell my mom, I told her it takes a 2700 player to recognize a 2700 player. And if you're a 2100 player, you're not even going to recognize things that 2.7k players do and be able to appreciate them. It's like in Final Fantasy, it's like slide casting is like an invisible skill, a skill cap, right? Bunny hopping is a middle, like you can kind of see this but not entirely. Whereas, for example, in an FPS game, leading your shots and understanding the ballistics of a Car 98 versus an M4, this is something that's immediately distinguishable between Shroud and me. Like, you can watch me play and you can watch Shroud play, and it's very different immediately. So that makes it makes a player able to appreciate that type of gameplay. Myth Quest for break-ins, guys, right skill when the keys you notice. Yeah, exactly, Cody. Because like people don't even recognize, like they're not going to recognize certain types of interrupt rotations, or you using your fear, for example, to interrupt a cast of a mob and then blade storming out of it so the mob doesn't run out of the pack of the AoE, right? They're not even going to see that. It's like for a casual player, that and getting carried through a 15 are the exact same thing. Yeah, fake casting to draw out interrupts, exactly. Like, and like the whole fake casting metagame, which I've always thought was stupid, but you know, that's the game. And so, here we are. Come on. Oh no. I think I'm just gonna capture the blue one. Fuck it, let's just do it. Play the bitch. It's such a good spell. Can't fake Peekaboo's kick. Yeah, but like a 1.7k player playing against a 1.7k player, they probably can't fake each other's kicks either. You see what I'm saying? Like, they probably, yeah, Yeah, they can't fake each other's kicks either. Digestibility and ease of access, yeah. Cheating kicks was more fun, or there was more latency. I've never liked the meta of faking kicks. Most everyone fakes kicks around 2100. Yeah, but let's say you're 1800. Well, then faking kicks doesn't really matter to you. It's more of a meta game at that point. Yeah, it is. It's kind of like holding cards in your hand whenever you're playing like Magic the Gathering. Like you would do this a lot, right? It's like whenever you were like halfway through the game and like you draw a land and like you don't need a land, you don't play the land immediately. You keep the card in your hand because that creates the illusion and it creates the question in the mind of your opponent whether to go all out on something or not, because they don't know what that card is, or keeping mana open. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you use mana in like your second main phase instead of first main phase. So like you've got 3 cards in hand, you've got all your mana open, and you're like, I'm attacking you with all these, and it's like, well, what's gonna happen if I start blocking, right? That's part of the play though. Yeah, exactly. I feel like with fake casting, it's not really as interesting because it's latency based. So a lot of the mind games are accidental. Chibo mana open for counterspell, yeah. Blizzard's a huge opportunity to break the cycle of complexity in PvP with Dragonflight. I think so too. I think that WoW PvP is inherently complex though. Like, for example, I think watching somebody who, like watching me do PvP, I think is kind of entertaining because I don't really, I don't use a lot of add-ons or anything like that. So like what people see on the screen is what they get. It's not like there's a lot of other like, you know, random bullshit. But yeah, anyway, like, well, going back to like, let's say Final Fantasy and like why I compare different games. So I think games of the same genre, I think it's very fair to compare their viewership. I do. I think it's very fair because they're the same type of game. But it is unfair to compare viewership of, let's say, a game like Candy Crush versus a game like Counter-Strike. I just judge this topic a lot because you understand the power of WoW. What does that mean, Quasar? What do you mean by that? WoW is a very old game that's been played by millions. So do you think somebody who played Wrath of the Lich King can watch somebody play Arena now and have an appreciation for what's happening on the screen? Because I don't think that they can. You're right that like people have like a base understanding of the game, and that's why I said things like my my transmog contests are more fulfilling for people, because those people can see it's like, oh, you know, this is like the Tusks of Manoroth, like, oh yeah, I remember those, right, or whatever. But like whenever you're talking about like minute-to-minute gameplay that's like, you know, arena level decision making, that's different. This guy really is doing a lot of damage, isn't he? Do you think there's a bias towards Final Fantasy because it's a series with 15 plus games and players are more emotionally attached to the same world? No, because each world is different. You know, the world that Thancred exists in is not the same world that Cloud exists in. Now, the games have, like, commonalities, right? So, like, people said, like, in every game, almost, there's, like, an engineer named Sid or something like that. Yeah, sure. I think there are players of Final Fantasy that like that, and the games have, like, all the same... They have, like, a lot of the same aesthetic, right? Like, Moogles and Chocobos, yeah, same mobs, yeah. They have that, so it's like a, And I think that, like, I mean, the stories are... I'm assuming they're different, but they probably have, like, a... Like, I don't think probably any of the Final Fantasy stories, like, end with everybody dying, like Romeo and Juliet, you know, for example, right? Like, I would assume, like, none of them kind of end that way. Well, we'll see what happens. But okay, well, anyway, so sure, maybe that will happen. I don't know. But anyway, there's death in every Final Fantasy. Yeah, but like what you were saying is like, I don't think I've played one before that's like has been a tragedy, you know, effectively. But sure, I mean, it's impossible really to know one way or another. See if I get them out. Nope. Why don't you play something that you enjoy? Well, I do. I enjoy this game. This is a great game for me to just play and relax with. I don't think I did, no. Let's see. What else do I need to do here? I mean, basically nothing. Alright, let's see if my server transfer is set up. Any interest in streaming Overwatch 2 closed beta this week? I don't know, maybe a little bit. How long is the closed beta gonna go on for? Three days. Should have beta coming finally? Yeah. Nice. Okay. But actually making big changes, I might play it. I need to talk and see if I'm going to get drops for the game too. If I'm not going to get drops for the game, I'm probably just not going to play it. Is the passive aggressive and weird so they're unplayable? All the weirdos are in the game. Greedy? Oh, yeah, I don't like that on Twitch. Only certain streamers get drops for games. I think that Twitch is doing the creators and also the users of the platform by allowing a disservice by allowing that. I think that it's unhealthy for the website, and I think that it creates resentment and frustration. I felt that way with New World and also with Lost Ark. There's really no upside to only allowing certain people to have drops for a game. And I think it opens the door for favoritism. And I think that one of the things that is good about websites like Twitch is that everybody who is watching something is watching it because they want to, and people that succeed because people choose to watch them. And if you want to create artificial reasons for people to watch somebody else, you're subverting one of the big reasons why the website is popular in the first place. So I think that all drops for games should be directory wide. And there it is, boys, by the way. Yeah, they should be directory wide, excuse me. People would just bot streams if they weren't selective. People would just bot streams. I don't think that you understand how that works. It's not bad for introducing unknown streamers. It is, because who decides who gets to introduce those streamers? A company that has no interest in the success or the growth of Twitch as a website. Who makes that decision? It's not the users on the platform. It's not the people that make the platform. Well, it drops in general forces for FOMO. It's stressful during the Rust ones. I don't really care as long as it's directory wide or category wide. Everyone should have the same opportunities. Yeah. And also, I think that it creates a job should be catered to lesser known streamers to promote growth. People are going to watch each way they get drops, promote a wider base of content creators than usual suspects. I actually disagree with promoting smaller streamers categorically. Like, you should not promote smaller streamers because they're smaller streamers. And those smaller streamers don't have any inherent right to promotion any more than somebody who's a larger content creator. And in fact, I would argue the opposite. I think that most people are smaller streamers because they're less entertaining streamers. People might not want to say that because it might come off as mean, but it's true. Big streamers start out small though. Yeah, and they earn their growth because they deserved it. And the market decided that they deserved to grow. That's right. It's disingenuous, no discoverability on Twitch. Let's be realistic. So your solution to not having discoverability on Twitch is to have it handed out to people arbitrarily? Let me ask you a question. If someone like XQC started streaming tomorrow on a new account, do you think he'd still become popular in a year? I think that the obvious answer to that is yes. So if you admit that, then you would have to admit that discoverability is not the main deciding factor on your success on Twitch. It's because Susi's already popular? Yeah, it's not what I said. It takes survivorship bias for 300, chat. There's a lot of people that throw out these terms like survivorship bias without really understanding what they mean. Who do you think knows more about this? You or me? Kill this thing now. Corporations go into stream business a certain way, find huge success due to brand marketing rather than individual success. Well, I think people can market themselves however they want. Most of it does now is more focused on having a big audience, and Overwatch is a dead game. I think people are just on copium. The fact is that people who are funny and work hard rise to the top, and people who are boring and are lazy don't. That's the way the world works. That's the way Twitch works, and that's the way that everything else in the world works, basically. Are there exceptions of people that maybe should be discovered more? Of course. But they're exceptions. Most people that don't have a lot of viewers don't have a lot of viewers because they're bad streamers. You package copium and sell. Yeah, I think so. Maybe we'll call it NFTs, Cody. Yeah, let's call it NFTs. I don't agree with you on this. You can be funny and have great content. People are not going to platform inherently fire viewers. Scroll down and click on that nobody to viewer. Well, the thing is, like, whenever you're growing your stream, like, for example, whenever I was growing my stream on YouTube, like, I started with 0 subscribers, and I didn't really get a lot of shout outs from anybody, or I didn't collab with larger creators on YouTube. I just simply made YouTube videos. That was it. And I know we're talking about YouTube and not Twitch, but I think that any content creator, you should only look at, like, you shouldn't look at like only making content on Twitch or only making content on YouTube. You should do both. I would recommend that to anyone. YouTube's algorithm now, excited for making your own success. Yeah, but there's nothing that's stopping a new content creator from making a YouTube video, is there? Because there's other content creators that are on YouTube that, there's people, like, I don't want to name people, right? But, like, for every YouTube person who, like, gets a good audience, like Moist Critical, there's, like, 10 more that don't. They can have like 1 million subscribers on YouTube and get less than 1,000 viewers on Twitch. It's because they're really good at making videos and they're boring on stream. While small streamers will succeed, they have the chat of a large streamer to interact with. I don't really think so. Like, for me, for example, like, I interact with my chat a lot. But if I was, like, there are times where I don't even read my chat for like 30 minutes, hardly, and like, I'm just like looking, people are saying like lulls and shit. Like, I'm not even interacting with my chat, I'm just talking. Yeah, I'm just simply talking. And, like, I'll do this on IRL streams. And I'll just sit there and like a chair at like some fucking place and just start talking. and it'll go on for like an hour and a half. So I don't really think this is something that like streamers need, a large chat or whatever. It's kind of like saying the more money you have, the smarter you are. I'm sure there's a correlation, but there's a million variables, including luck, that factor into stream success. I agree that there are a million factors, but I think the biggest factors are hard work, skill, and dedication. The biggest factors are not luck, you know, possibility, and, you know, networking. There are a lot of streamers who just switch to channel, boom, works, just boom, it goes. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of streamers who network with, you know, other big streamers, and then on their own stream they don't get any viewers. Do you know why? It's because they're boring. No one's going to watch someone just because they streamed with another big content creator. The fun ones need to also network to get somewhere. It's a mix of everything. Well, yeah, it is, and that's what I'm saying, right, is that I think that, like, you're right, like, networking, like, for example, like, being attractive, like, if you're fat and ugly, it's going to be harder for you to be successful than if you're skinny and in shape and attractive. That's just the truth. And so, this is definitely the case. And, that's true. Yeah, it is true. With Greek, it's reverse. Greek's one person. Like, yeah, you're right. Just got lucky then. Shut up, Cody. Yeah. Yeah. Think funny is more important than looks for a successful streamer? I would say for a girl, it's very important how you look. It's extremely important. I'd say it's much less important as a guy, but it's still important. I feel like an object. Well, to a lot of people you are. That's the way that life works. That's the way, I mean, you're a stranger to them, and so they just look at you like that. Bro, like, I need to fucking... This is crazy. What am I doing? I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna do a couple more laps, and I want to go ahead and actually just do something in this game. Holy fuck. I've just done nothing. I'm just fooling around for like an hour. How do you fit in a skinny and good-looking demographic? I honestly, I feel like if I was more in shape and better looking, people would in general have a better perception of me. It's a psychological effect called the halo effect. And I think that there are a lot of people, especially like larger, like more extended audiences. Like, I'm not talking about like MMO players, right? But I mean like average people. Like, they'll see me and they will just instinctively dislike me because of how I look. Same thing with politicians. Yeah. There's a clip of Quinn69, my video you're gonna react to tomorrow when he's banned. I'll just skip through it. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's not like if I show Quinn for 3 seconds, I'm gonna get banned. If that's gonna happen, I just might as well go to YouTube now. Flaws are relatable in my opinion. So that's your opinion, and also like you're watching a stream because like you understand like the people that are watching the stream are not the type of larger target audience that I'm talking about. Fundamentally, right? Because like you're watching a stream that doesn't have a face cam. Quinn's banned for 14 days for harassment against women. It was a stupid thing to say. I think Quinn got what he said. I think he got it from Jordan Peterson, because one time Jordan Peterson said that one of the differences between like men and women about like showing aggression is that men don't know how to deal with women who are showing aggression because they can't be physical. Bill Burr also said it. Maybe I mean I would be amazed if Quinn didn't watch Bill Burr. Really? Yeah. Men aren't judging attractiveness, but success, and you're extremely successful. Money makes up for... No, the thing is, like, if you have a girl that's dating you because you have a lot of money, that's not a girlfriend, that's a prostitute. I think that this is like a fantasy that's invented by, you know, young guys that think that the real reason why they don't have a girlfriend is because they don't have a lot of money. And it's actually just probably because they're like a selfish loser or an asshole, or like they're boring and like no girl would want to talk to them. And they're just looking for like a reason that they can, you know, put that responsibility on somebody else. Retain and grow your audience, make videos only for YouTube. Yeah, I mean, like YouTube content creators, like, for example, YouTube has a way higher ceiling than Twitch does right now. Like YouTube is a, for every one user on Twitch, there's about 200 users on YouTube. That's the difference in size. Can you explain to me why men can't express themselves without aggression? Well, it's because they've never had to. And there are women who are like that too. Like the women who get really aggressive and like angry and stuff like that too. And it's like men like that, yeah, it's like they do that because, you know, that's just what's natural to them. And you know, like the Amber Heard, like, I mean, that's one example, right? But there's like a million other ones too. And society doesn't treat it the same because, you know, women aren't as big as strong and strong as men. So like, it's like if you see some guy who's like 6'1", 220, you know, throwing a fit, hitting somebody, it's a lot different vibe than if it's like a 5'1", 90-pound girl. It's like the difference between like a pit bull and a chihuahua. If they're the same level of aggression, the pit bull's just way more dangerous because it's a pit bull. Even if the level of aggression is the same. Men can take the life of another human being with a single punch. Women can't do it. I mean, I don't know. I think a girl could like push you down and like you would always hit your head and like just have a concussion and die or something like that. I mean, like that could happen, but it's just unlikely. 60 women could crush a skin man like Zach? Yeah, I wish. Men high DPS? Yeah, exactly. You okay? Run you down? No, I'm fine. I'm a bit stressed. But I'm good. Straight up pit bulls, I wouldn't use them as an example. I don't care about your opinion about pit bulls. Like, personally, I find pit bulls to be... I think that if you own a pit bull, you should probably have to have, like, a special license for it. I don't think it should be, like, illegal to own one or something like that, but you should have to have, like, a license or something. Regulate it, don't ban it. I don't know. You're wrong. Is it dogfighting? I think there's a lot of reasons. Pit bulls they make up a huge amount of dog attacks. I think they're over half of all the dog attacks in like the US. So it's very clear that, so like for any sort of animal source, that's pet info. No, it's not. Look. Look at this. Dog attacks by breed. Number 1, Pit Bull, 3,397. Deaths, 295. Number 2, Rottweiler, 535. Deaths, 8. I don't care about a picture of a pit bull next to a baby. I care about numbers because numbers don't lie. Numbers are. And that's all they are. This is not an argument of an opinion. This is a fact. Let's see here. Over here for now. Jesus, that's crazy. No idea pit bulls are that dangerous. Well, it's a combination, right? It's a combination of a lot of people, like pit bulls are bred in many cases for fighting. Also, there are a lot of people that own pit bulls who are the kind of guys that don't really take care of their dogs, and they've got 2 pit bulls chained out into like a metal pole in the backyard all day, and so like the dog's out of its fucking mind. I think that, you know, there's clearly the dog is very good at attacking things, right, and biting things, etc. That's why they're used as fighting dogs. So like it's a lot of things that come together, and that's why I think having a license for it would solve all of those problems. I don't think they should be banned. I would try and have a license for it. It would solve the problem, I think, and go from there. What about other dogs? Well, like for example, like a Chihuahua or a Pomeranian dog, if they have the same level of aggression as a pit bull, it doesn't really matter, because a dog like a pit bull has just a much larger capacity for attacking somebody. Like let's say there's like a gorilla and a lion and a cat, and they all 3 of them have a 10% chance to bite you and attack you. Who do you want to be around? Well, you want to be around the cat because it has a much less capacity for dangerous violence. It's not the breed, it's the owners. We say higher system Chihuahua because people don't train a Chihuahua in the same way. I think it's probably the breed and the owners. It's like a 50-50 or like 70-30 thing, I don't know. I don't agree that it's entirely on the owners though. That's why I just think that you should have, like, whenever you have certain types of animals, you need to have, like, an exotic animal license. Where, like, you have to have, like, extra levels of insurance and there's, like, more that you have to do. And I think that's how they should handle pit bulls. Because that would lower the amount of people that are just breeding them and buying them for dog fighting. It would add a level of accountability for people so they have a higher reason to train them better. And I think it would remove the problem by at least 50%. Clearly never owned a dog. What do you think that owning one dog would... What insight would owning one dog give you into national statistics? You're just so foolish you don't even understand what you're talking about. You're emotionally attached to the argument. I don't care about pit bulls at all, and so you can't think clearly. You're not using proper argumentation, and you're not using logic. They're not smart. With people like that, it's hard not to. Logical Mao. Yeah. Yeah, the logic that, you know, you go from 295 to 8 and there's not a correlation. Yeah, I mean, there's zero correlation there. Stats you pulled up are intrinsically flawed ones, though. How flawed do you think they are, though? Let's say that they have a